Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rosano, and this is episode 80 of the Affiliate Party Podcast. Today, it's Saturday, October the 3rd, 2020. Today, we're going to talk about bad habits. Do you have bad habits? How do you get out of those bad habits? Now, me, I definitely have bad habits. Okay? I have terrible habits sometimes. The first thing about a bad habit is you have to recognize that it's a bad habit. Without the recognition, without the knowledge, the acceptance of this bad habit, you'll never be able to fix it. Trust me. Me myself, one nasty habit I have. Let's say if I'm rocking and rolling, I'll do one podcast, and then I'm like, oh, I'll slip, and then 2 hours later, I've done nothing else, and it's like, come on. I should have wrote an article. I should have wrote some emails. I should have done something in those other 2 hours. But I'm like, oh man, I forgot. I did the podcast, and then I sort of laid around, took a nap, because when you crunch for time, sometimes you want to do content clusters. You don't want to just try to write, like I told you last week, this week, trying to write an email every day, sometimes it could be a pain. So if you get into the habit of stocking up, piling up emails, piling up videos, just piling up any kind of content, then when you're pressed for time one day, you don't have to worry about oh man, I gotta get this done. You will already have it done. It will already be in the can. So sort of procrastination is a habit. I'm working on that. So if you have bad habits like I have, what can you do to work on them? Well, number one, you have to recognize them. You have to say, okay, this is the habit I have, and what can you do to break the habit? And in order to break the habit, you can't just, some people will try to tell you go cold turkey. I think that cold turkey doesn't work for a lot of people. I remember my dad. My dad used to be a heavy drinker back in the day, and then one day he said, "I'm not gonna drink anymore," and I was like, "Yeah, right." And my dad, he just stopped drinking. That was it. For 10 years, he didn't drink. Every now and then he has a beer now, but for like 10 years, I said, you just went cold turkey, huh? He said, yep, that was it. I said, so I thought I had the cold turkey gene from him. Nah, I don't. I have to recognize my habit. I have to recognize my terrible habit, and then I have to say, okay, what can I do? And then I had to take small steps to change my habit. I had to do something else. I had to do something else to block out the bad habit. So one thing I have done, I bought an alarm clock, and I keep the alarm clock close by. So whenever I'm doing well, let me go back. One habit that I have is anything I do, it seems like it takes forever. Writing, anything, it seems like it takes forever. I try not to, but it takes forever. So I started last month. I bought an alarm clock, a little $3 alarm clock. So different tasks I do, I time myself. I set an alarm. I say, okay, you got 30 minutes to get this done. And so far, so good. I've been knocking them out. I haven't been, because one time I wrote a 1,000-word article. It took me like 4 hours. I don't know what was going on. It doesn't take that long to write. It doesn't take that long to write an article. It's just, your mind starts to wander. You start to meander around, phone call, you're like, oh, let me take this phone call, blah, blah, blah. What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. So all that time was just sort of going by the wayside. So I got the alarm clock, start timing myself with everything. The exercise I do in the morning, I time it. The writing, I time it. I time everything now. And it is helping. I go over the time a little bit, but it's not as bad as it used. It's not as bad as it used to be. Now the only thing is I got to keep it up, So I take the alarm. It's a little $3, $4 alarm clock, and it's just batteries. So I take it everywhere I go. So that way, like especially if I'm writing or if I'm on the truck and I'm writing, I break it out. If I'm at home, I break it out. No matter where I go, I break this little alarm clock out, and it helps. So just recognizing your habits. Now we got good habits, we got bad habits, but just make sure you recognize the bad habits and try to weed them out, because the more that you know yourself, the better off you will be. Sometimes we think we know ourselves, but we really don't, and that's a lot of my thing. I'm like, I do this, I do that, but it's like, you really a procrastinating kind of fella, So just if you don't have anything else to do today, pull out a piece of paper or just sit there and think, say, what do I do that sort of I need to improve, Just like sometimes I used to think to myself, I'm like, man, I don't have enough time, between driving and this, that, and the other. It's like, I got plenty of time because I can sit there and watch a movie after I'm done driving, but I can't write. It's like, come on now. Commitments, brother, commitments. So, yep. I got bad habits. I'm sure you got bad habits, but the main thing, let's weed them out. Let's get the Rid-X or whatever kind of weed, whatever kind of garden weed killer, ortho, however you want to put it. Let's get the weed. Let's get the nasty habits out of our lives. Okay. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. Subscribe to get regular emails from me. I put it in the description of the episode now every day. So we are in that habit, but just check it out. My name is Tony Rosano. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Affiliate Party Podcast. And remember, let's kick those habits, all right? Those bad habits anyway. But we'll come back again tomorrow for another episode. My name is Tony Rosano. This is the Affiliate Party Podcast. And as always, everybody, peace.